Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the North Pacific West Coast of Canada. I hope everybody is having a super weekend so far. I hope you're all healthy, happy, strong, and I hope you're being productive. Welcome to this class, everyone. Welcome Ahmed. Hi Nazanin. Hi Harpreet. In this class, we are looking at an IELTS Band 9 Speaking Part 2 Sample Response. We're going to be doing this together, everyone, so get ready for that. And as usual, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. That's where you want to go. And for general IELTS, you want to go to gieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, we have tons of help to improve your speaking, your language, and your communication. Hi, Rumi Kanwal. Welcome to our members. Hi, Hasna, Ankush. Good to see so many students in the class ready to learn, and learn you shall. On our websites, you can find help to speak with other students as well and practice. This is our academic IELTS website here at aehelp.com. You just click this big red button to join our premium package. Once you join this website, you will be able to go to your My Student account. In your My Student account, you will have lots of goodies, computer-based IELTS practice exams, and so on. General IELTS, same idea, green background. Click the big red button. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, so it is well worth it. All right, check us out there when you have a moment. Okay, everyone, so we've got lots of classes for you this week coming up with a little bit of a break on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So today, right now, speaking part 2, and then on Wednesday we'll continue with speaking part 1, and then we'll have a full week of classes, and we'll be doing some interview sessions with some of our students in these live classes, so you'll be able to check those out. That's exciting, so definitely be sure to subscribe to the channel and keep up with these live classes to improve your English. Also, get our apps, Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help from your Google Play, Apple App Stores. Use those. Follow us on Instagram. If you have questions, Adrian at aehelp.com. Just send me an email. Okay, everyone, let's get into today's speaking. So this is a speaking class, so make sure to speak and speak. Let's use this symbol and repeat. Okay, so copy my intonation. Copy my pronunciation as much as possible, and if you're having difficulties, don't worry about it, just keep practicing. The video is recorded and you will be able to practice again later. The video will be on the channel. Okay, all right, everyone, so speaking part 2, here we go. Okay, speaking part 2 is a cue card. All right, so you get a card with questions like this. Okay, let me try to shorten this up a little bit so you can see it more of in an eye shot here. Let me just, meanwhile you can read the questions, get a little bit of a head start and start thinking about it. Okay, so your cue card looks like this. They actually show you a little booklet, like they'll slide you a booklet, and because of COVID, your examiner is going to ask you not to touch the booklet, okay? So speaking has 3 parts. The first part, you will sit down. The examiner will introduce this part of the test, and they will then ask you some questions about you and some general topics like your hobbies, your favorite color, sports that you play, movies that you like. And then when they will only do one of those general topics, okay? So if they talk about movies, they'll ask you like 3 or 4 questions about movies that you like, where you watch movies, and so on. And then when you're done that part 1, they will say, okay, that is the end of part 1. Now we will continue with part 2. For part 2, I will show you a card with some questions on it. You will have 1 minute to read these questions. You have some note paper beside you. You have your pen. You can take notes in the 1 minute if you wish. Then you will have 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start, when to stop. Talk about the perfect house for you to live in. Okay? So they will then read this statement and they will say, okay, your 1 minute preparation time begins now. So from this time, you have exactly 60 seconds to read these questions. Think about your answers. We'll talk about why that's a plural. Your answers. Choose one answer or one topic to think about. And then take some notes, some useful notes. And then speak for 2 minutes, anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, and this 3 minute part 2 is the most important for your speaking band score. Why? Anybody know why? So here's a question before we get a little bit deeper into this. So why is the 1 minute preparation time and then the 2 minute speaking the most important part of your overall IELTS speaking band score? So why is the 3 minute part 2 of speaking the most important for your overall band score? What do you think? Okay, so there is a good answer to this, and it's not like a maybe or oh man, it's only Adrian that says this. No, no, no. It's definitely the most important. No questions there. For sure, it's the most important. Okay. Why? Why is this going to decide your mark? So if you're a band 8, this is where the examiner knows that you're a band 8 and not a band 6. If you're a band 6, this is where that's decided. Okay. Shardor says it's because you're not stopped in the second part, so you have to build a lot of fluency. Yeah, Shardor, that's part of it, absolutely. Nazanin says because it's a monologue, so you're speaking by yourself. Bakrat says because you're summarizing information, you're coming up with good ideas. Yes, you're getting into more detail as well. Pardee says because you use a wide range of tenses and grammar to express yourself fluently. Yeah, so there's a lot in this part, absolutely. So in this part, the examiner can get a really good idea of your fluency, coherence, grammar range, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Because you are speaking about a specific idea uninterrupted for 2 minutes. And, there's a big and coming here. Let's make that a big and. And this response will also greatly impact your part 3, because part 3 is related to part 2. So your part 2 ideas and speech are reflected in part 3. So for all of those reasons, the 1 minute preparation time and the 2 minute speaking time of part 2 is the most important. Okay? Vocabulary is extremely important for a band 6 Harman. Okay? Does everybody clearly understand this right now? So part 2 is very, very important. So let's go through this step by step. Okay, so our speaking part 2 this time is talk about the perfect house for you to live in. Okay? Now, you should say, where is this house? What it looks like? What do you need to buy or build this home? Why do you think this is the perfect home for you? So we've got a good number of questions here. Okay. And when you're preparing for task 2, you have to go through some important steps. So step number 1 is to identify what you're talking about. Okay? So part 2 will be one of 5 different kinds of categories. Okay? So part 2 in the IELTS speaking will either be an object, a person, a place, an event, or an idea. And at times, it could be a kind of a combination. With one being more important, okay? So, welcome, Jaineel. Hi, Ois. Good to see more members in the class. So, in this cue card, talk about the perfect house for you to live in. What are we talking about? Are we talking about an object? Are we talking about a person, a place, an event, or an idea? What are we really talking about here? Okay. Bakrat says we're talking about a place. Okay. Are we talking about anything else here other than a place? Okay. We're definitely talking about a place, but we're talking about something else as well here, in my opinion. Jyoti says he thinks it's a place and an idea. A lot of you are thinking it's an idea. Yeah, I don't know. I would actually say it's an object. Excuse me. So it's a place and an object. Yeah, Bakrat says it's more of an object, right? The idea, not so much. This isn't really a concept as much as it is a place and an object. Okay, so my perfect house would be more of a place and an object. The house itself is an object and it's a place. Okay, and I would say it's more of an object than a place even. Okay, so when you talk about an object, what should you include? Okay, when you talk about an object, what should you include? Well, you should talk about its appearance. Okay, what it looks like. You should talk about its origin, where it comes from. All right. You should talk about its function, how it works. And then you should talk about its importance. So why is it important? Okay. So when we talk about an object, you talk about these elements and you talk about them in this order. Okay. For it to make a lot of sense. All right. So that's what we want to do. And when you talk about a place, you talk about its appearance. Okay. When you talk about a place, you talk about the attendees. Okay. You talk about the actions or the events that happen there. Okay. And you talk about its importance. So why is it important for you? All right. You have to learn these, students. So when you're really giving a Band 9 answer to a question on a cue card in the IELTS, okay, you need to remember these very important points when you're talking about an object and when you're talking about a place in this order, all right? Does everybody clearly understand the importance of this, all right? Okay, now step 2. Yeah, that's right. Who said that? Oh, it said location. Yeah, location, absolutely. Is also very important, okay? All right, so good. Yes, Arda, we will do voice calls from our website, but not for speaking part 2. We'll do it for speaking part 1 and for speaking part 3. Maybe later we'll do it for part 2 as well, and we'll do more of those next week. So thanks for that question. Okay. All right. So now step 2, okay, for your cue card is to identify the topic and the controlling ideas. Okay, so the topic is kind of like, what are we talking about here? Okay, we're talking about dream house. Okay, and the controlling ideas are where, why, and what I need. Okay, so instead of where, let's say location, appearance, reasons, and needs. Okay, so that's what we need to talk about. Okay, so again, here's our cue card. So there's a lot of new people joining in. And when you're practicing at home, it's a good idea to look at the cue card again and again. Even in your real IELTS, you want to look at the cue card at least a couple of times, okay? So you want to read it twice right away when you get it, just so you make sure that you see all the questions. And then during your speaking, after about 40 seconds, you want to look at this again to make sure you're answering all the questions and you're staying on topic, okay? So here's the cue card again for speaking part 2. Talk about the perfect house for you to live in. You should say, where is this house? What it looks like? What do you need to buy or build this home? Why do you think this is the perfect home for you? Okay, all right, so all of these questions. First, you understand that, okay, well, I'm talking about an object here, a home. So I'm going to have to talk about its appearance. I'm going to have to talk about its function and its importance. It's also a place, so I have to talk about its location and the appearance of the location, the attendees who might go there, the actions and the events and its importance, okay? So all of these elements have to be included. The topic is a dream house, and these are the controlling ideas. Now, for the next step, I have to come up with some good ideas. So come up with 2 to 3 ideas. One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of students make is they think of one answer and they go, okay, that's what I'm going to talk about. And then they realize, ooh, that was a bad idea. It's a difficult idea. I don't actually know much about it. I don't know how to talk about it. This is going to be an issue. Okay? All right. So let's come up with 2 to 3 ideas. All right? Okay? So give me some ideas. What is your dream house? Don't just think of one dream house. Think about several different dream homes. So Paulo Reese says, a big house in the countryside. Okay? A big house in the countryside, Paulo, might be like a rancher. Okay, a big ranch house. Okay, a ranch house in the countryside. Mian, it's not hard to come up with 2 to 3 ideas, just visualize it. So Mian, think about a house that's in downtown somewhere or a home, right? It's probably not going to be a house. Think about the suburbs, think about the countryside. So think about different locations for homes and what those dream homes look like. Harwinder says a mansion, but where is that mansion? So let's say a mansion in the suburbs of Vancouver. Okay, you always want to be specific with your ideas. All right? Okay. So Blueberry, good, a mansion, massive garden. Be specific. Where is that mansion? So be real, right? Don't just be like fantasy world where it's like, oh, a big mansion that's made of gold. No, be real world, right? Deutsch says falling water in the USA. You're going to have to explain what falling water is. I'm not sure what that is. Arda says a villa with 3 stories in the US, which has a football pitch and a garden. Okay, where in the US? US is a big place. It's like saying Asia. It's like saying Europe, right? It's a huge country. Quinn Ann Nguyen says a penthouse in New York City. Yeah, okay. Okay. All right, so we've got 3 choices here. We're going to stick with one of them, all right? And we'll take some votes. Let's see. So dream big, right? Let's say that the ranch house in... let's say the ranch house in the countryside in Texas is choice number 1. Mansion in the suburbs of Vancouver is number 2. And penthouse overlooking Central Park in New York City is number 3. I'll take a vote on this. So vote 1, 2, or 3. So ranch house in the countryside in Texas, a mansion in the suburbs of Vancouver, Canada. That's kind of close to me. Or penthouse in New York City overlooking Central Park. Let's see who's got what. Kevin says, let's do number 3. We've got a lot of number 3s. We've got a lot of number 2s as well. I would say number 2 seems to have the win. So we're going to go with number 2, but I encourage you, when you have some time after this class, to practice number 1 and 3. So it looks like 3 and 2 seem to be some pretty popular votes here, okay? I would probably choose a mansion in the suburbs of Vancouver, okay? Just because it might be the easiest choice to talk about. If you don't know much about New York City or Central Park, it could be difficult. But if you know a lot about it, then yeah, that could be a good choice as well, okay? All right, so let's do number 2 for today. Okay, we'll do the mansion in the suburbs of Vancouver. And so now for step 4, we want to make some useful notes. Okay, and by useful notes I mean don't write down ideas that you will say for sure. Okay, so for example, don't write down Vancouver mansion. You know that you're going to say that, okay? You don't need to write it down. So don't waste that precious, valuable 1 minute preparation time by writing down ideas that you already know. So don't write down the word Canada. You know that Vancouver is in Canada, okay? All right, so let's take some notes here. All right, first of all, the appearance of the house. Okay, give me some notes for the appearance. Okay, and students, use English only in the chat, right? Don't, so respect other people in the chat. Use English only. Chardor, Vancouver is a big city of about 2 million people in British Columbia, Canada. It's where the 2010 Winter Olympics were held, and it's considered the best quality of life for any big city in the world. So it's definitely a good choice to live in Vancouver. Even with all the rain that happened in the last few days, it's still a great choice. Okay, so let's take some notes here. Okay. And, okay, so Paulo says it's a wood house. What do you mean by wood house? Like, is it a log house? Okay, make sure you know the correct vocabulary. So, don't write down the word appearance. Okay, obviously you're going to know the word appearance. So, Okay, Harwinder, don't write down massive house. You're going to know those words. Okay. Okay, Nita says large windows. Okay, good. So wood to ceiling windows. Yeah, very good. Okay. It would have an attic. Okay, Paulo. All right. Hasna says 500 square meters. Very good. So yeah, the size of it. Okay, 500 square meters. Violetta, don't write down conveniently located because you're going to say that anyway. All right. Ali Asghar, Mohammed, Amir, get in there. All right. Okay, swimming pool. Yeah. In and out, so meaning indoor and outdoor, right? Arta says balcony. Ocean view. Right? Two-story. Very good, Farhan. Okay. Harwinder says luxurious carpets. It would be Persian carpets. All right. Quinn wants a tennis court. Very good. Okay. And you might think of something like 10 bed, 5 bath, games room. Okay. So you've got good ideas. You can actually write down a lot, right? Because these ideas should be coming quickly. Okay. All right. So its origin here, where does it come from? Okay, so where does your house come from? The origin of your house. Okay, so here first we're thinking about the parameters for an object. Okay, object means that you're thinking about the appearance, the origin, the function, and the importance. Okay, so what would be the origin of this house? Okay, where does the house come from? Now you're probably thinking, like, where does a house come from, right? Well, you might still need to explain this. There is an answer for this. Okay, yeah, exactly. So Dutch says architecture. So custom architecture. Yep, absolutely. You would maybe have a custom design. It would be built. Okay, so instead of buying it pre-made, maybe you're going to build it, right? Okay, so that's the origin of the house. What's the function of the house? So what would you use your house for? Okay, again, think about ideas that might not come naturally that will help you to be more fluent and give more detail during your part 2 speaking so that you can get those higher band scores. So Vera says for dwelling or living, but you wouldn't say that or write that down. You can say it, but don't write it down because you know that. Hasna says family gatherings and parties. Yep, absolutely. Shardor, very good for a business as well. Maybe a lot of us are working from home these days with COVID and such, so maybe you'll have an incredible office in your house as well, okay? Yeah, there you go. Now you're thinking smart, okay? So gathering, parties, office work, relaxing as well, I'm sure, right? And sports, because it sounds like many of you want tennis courts and swimming pools. So that's the function. And the importance, why is it an important house for you? Okay, again, don't think about words that you would automatically say like quality of life, okay? All right? So parties, don't write down living in your notes because you know that, right? So what's the importance of this home? Why would this home be important? Okay? Yeah, Arta says it's huge enough for the family, so big family. Okay. Maybe it's a sustainable home. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, for avoiding bad weather, Vera. Very good, maybe, like floods, right? Also, the importance of this home might be for a long, happy life, right? All right. Now this is also a place because you're in Vancouver. Okay. So why Vancouver? Okay. So Vancouver is green. Okay. It's rich. Quality of life. It's very safe. All right. The climate is good. Okay. All right. So those are some ideas about why, okay? The people that are there, culture, multicultural. So you have people from your own culture as well as other cultures, right? Maybe it's also easy travel. And there's lots to do, right? It's a big city. So big city. So it's got theaters. It's got parks. It's got lots to do, hiking and nature, okay? All right, so yes, you can do this in 1 minute. So in the 1 minute preparation time, that's why I did the place without looking too much at the chat. I just wanted to show you that you can take notes very, very quickly when you know what you're doing and when you're visualizing, okay? So, Mohammed, if you don't have any ideas about Vancouver, don't worry, just make it up, right? Raman Preet says there are lots of beaches. Yeah, absolutely, very good. And lots of restaurants, OS as well, and many kinds of world-famous restaurants because of all those different cultures, right? So now we've got tons of ideas to answer our cue card. And again, here's our cue card, okay? So talk about the perfect house for you to live in. Okay, Kuch Nguyen says, that's a lot of details to talk about. Absolutely, Kuch, because in part 2 speaking, you do not want to repeat yourself. You want to give new information with every sentence. That's how you get that high band 8, band 9 score, okay? Paulo says, it's crazy to think about talking about all that in 1 minute. It's 1 to 2 minutes, Paulo. And if you're not repeating information, Paulo, then they will give you more than 1 minute to talk. They'll give you at least 90 seconds, especially if you're fluent, okay? So the next step here is to come up with your first sentence, okay? So think of your first sentence before your 2 minute speaking time. This is so you can start right away and be accurate to the topic. Okay? And you have to, yeah, equal sign is good here. You must use the topic in this sentence, okay? No, Paulo, you can. Paulo, if you practice what I'm showing you in the class, you can do this in 1 minute. 1 minute is actually a lot of time. So 60 seconds, students, is a lot of time if you're counting 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000. That's how we count seconds in English. Then by the time you get to 61,000, it's a lot of time. So you have a lot of time to think about all of this as long as you're thinking. Okay, if you're staring at the stars and you're just kind of stuck and you're super nervous and you're holding your pen and you're like basically like, well, when these live classes freeze or something like that, then yeah, that's not, then 1 minute is very short. But when your brain is going, then 1 minute is a lot of time, okay? So think about your first sentence before the person says your 1 minute preparation time is up. Okay, so let's see. All right, Shardor says, the house I imagine I get on well with in my inspirations. That's only a half sentence, Shardor. Finish that sentence. Paulo says, a dream house for me. Let me do something here. Just give me a second so you can see these first sentences. Okay. All right. Just give me a moment while you're thinking about these first sentences. I'm going to show you what your fellow classmates are saying here so that you can see your fellow classmates along with me. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can show this to you. Maybe not this time. All right. Okay, no worries then. Okay, so let's see. All right. Well, you can see it in the chat, I'm sure, anyway. Okay, so Paulo says, a dream house for me is a mansion in the suburbs of beautiful Vancouver. Paulo, that is a perfect first sentence. Wonderful, okay. Janelle says, my dream house is a gigantic mansion in the suburb of Vancouver, BC. In fact, I think its name as well, it's called Gabani. The Gabani Mansion. Yeah, why not, Janelle? Use your family name. People love doing that here, by the way. When they have a huge house, they'll call it the Gabani Mansion. Okay, good. Arda says, the perfect house for me to live in is a huge white mansion with 5 stories, which has a football pitch in its garden in Vancouver. Very nice. Ois says, the dream house I have been thinking of is a mansion in the suburbs of Vancouver that will cost about $20 million. Okay, $1 million, students, will buy you an average house in Vancouver. Not even, actually. You need about $2 million for an average house. So a big mansion in Vancouver will cost you about $20 million. Okay. All right, Diksha says, a dream house for me would probably be in the suburbs of Vancouver since it's a lovely city to live in. Okay, don't really talk about Vancouver until the end, so about the neighborhood. Talk more about the house because the question is focusing on the house. So careful about that, Diksha. Don't sidetrack to Vancouver just yet, okay? Mien says, for me, the house that I've always dreamt of is a 2-story mansion located in the suburbs of Vancouver. Okay, very good, yeah. So for me, the house that I've always dreamt of is a 2-story mansion in the suburbs of Vancouver, specifically in North Vancouver. Sure. Okay. So there we go. That's our first sentence, and many of you got it. So many of you realize that that's kind of what you need to do, okay? Now, let's continue. So all that you're really doing here is continuing using your notes, okay? So here we have the appearance, foot-to-ceiling windows, attic, swimming pool, balcony. So start describing the look of this house, okay? So describe the look of this house and combine ideas. Like if you say that it would have foot-to-ceiling windows, then it might be a good idea to combine that with ocean view. Because if I have beautiful windows, the reason that I would have those big, beautiful windows is to have an ocean view and to have lots of sunlight come into the building, okay? So start describing it. Give me some sentences. I'll look at your sentences, and then we'll expand on the response, on the part 2 response. So again, the cue card question here is all the way up here. Talk about the perfect house for you to live in. You should say, where is this house? What it looks like? What do you need to buy or build this home? Why do you think it is the perfect home for you? And then you think for 1 minute, and the examiner says, okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. And right away you say, for me, the house that I've always dreamt of is a 2-story mansion in the suburbs of Vancouver, specifically in North Vancouver. This house would have lots of modals, lots of conditionals here. right? Because it's your dream house, okay? All right, so keep talking and add information. So this is where you add the details, okay? Shardor says, turning to the details, my dream house is comprised of large glass windows from foot to ceiling so that I could look out at the amazing ocean view of downtown Vancouver and the inner harbor. Okay. Arda says, my perfect house has large windows so I can watch the ocean from my balcony or on the roof while chilling in my jacuzzi with a beer. Arda, very nice. Just don't repeat watch ocean view. It's watch the ocean or have an ocean view. Okay. Nita says it would have foot-to-ceiling windows with a mesmerizing view of the clear blue ocean. Besides this, the interior would have Persian carpets laid over. Very nice, Nita. Okay, that's exactly what we're looking for, is the good connected detail here. Okay. All right. Dutch says the house has a cubic form and has a neoclassical style. Okay. Yeah. All right. Sure. This house would have at least 10 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms to provide lots of space for my wife and 3 children. It would have a modern design with foot-to-ceiling windows so that we can enjoy the ocean view while filling our home with precious sunlight. Okay. Certainly, there would be lots of amenities, both indoors and outdoors, including a games room, tennis courts, and a swimming pool, both in and out of the home. Okay, so just putting together those notes, all right? And this is what I'm asking you to do. Now, notice how I'm building lots of fluency and I'm connecting my ideas. So I'm saying this house would have at least 10 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. And here's the connective word, to provide, okay? So you want to use these kinds of words to provide lots of space for my wife and 3 children. It would have a modern design with foot-to-ceiling windows so that we can, okay? That's my connection there, and that's my use of coordinating conjunction so that we can enjoy the ocean view. And then here's another connective word, while filling our home with precious sunlight. Certainly there would be lots of amenities, both indoors and outdoors. So here I'm using a correlative conjunction to make the connection. And then here I'm using another joining element to keep my fluency, okay? Including a game room, tennis courts, and swimming pool, both in and out of the home. So again, I'm using that both and, okay? So know your conjunctions to create fluency, all right? Those are my joining words there. All right, so if I need some more ideas, hey, look at the notes, right? So the function and the importance, okay? All right, so I would love to host big family gatherings for special events. For instance, on New Year's. So I would definitely have a massive state of the art kitchen with a gas stove so that I can cook delicious food. This mansion can give lots of comfort to my life, so I can live a rich and happy life to the age of 100. Okay, I'm using quantitative language as well, so I'm using numbers. All right, always think of numbers. Always keep numbers in your head. So my 3 children, I don't just say big family, but 3 children. And if I say I have lots of family, I might say something like 20 cousins. Okay, so keep numbers in your head all the time. Numbers will help your fluency and will help your speech be more accurate. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, let's see what's going on in the chat. Let's see if students have added these kinds of details. Okay. So Kevin Bowie says, I want to spend my life here because the house is bursting with excitement. It has wall-to-wall, floor-to-ceiling large windows which enable the interior to be flooded with light all day, as well as a state-of-the-art AC system for around-the-clock air ventilation and comfort. Beautiful description, Kevin. Make sure you're copying what I'm saying here, students, okay? Laura says, can you provide a synonym for amenities? Yeah, another way you could say amenities, because I know a lot of you are like, amenities, luxuries. Okay, would be another way to say amenities, or another way to say amenities. There's a couple ways that you can paraphrase this. Utilities. Okay, utilities refer to things like electricity and so forth, but it could also refer to amenities as well. Okay, so there are a couple ways. All right, let's see, what else do we have here? All right, Bakrat says it's a spread from attached Roshan Hotel to the entrance gate of Juhu Beach with 800 square meters. The outside architecture is built of quartz, and it would have 6 rooms. Bahrat, you have some good ideas. You need to join your ideas a bit clearer. It's like you're kind of listing but not really joining, okay? Narendra Modi says, this house would definitely be my dream home where I want to live with all my close and loved ones in the future. Okay, we said that in the beginning, so make sure you're not repeating yourself, Narendra, all right? Okay, so we've got some good thoughts, some good responses there. All right, and I've answered a lot of the questions here about the object now. I still need to say origin or what I need, okay? So since Vancouver is quite an expensive city, I would need about $20 million to construct such a home, and I would hire some architects to design the home exactly the way I envision it. Okay, so this is what I need. All right, so here we go, everyone. Let's go from the top. Repeat after me, and then we'll see how we do. We'll see if we have more time. I'm going to time the response here. So speak with me, copy with me, okay? we'll see if we still have some time left at the end so that we can add some information about the location of our home, Vancouver, okay? So again, this speaking part 2 question is, talk about the perfect house for you to live in. You should say, where is this house? What it looks like? What do you need to buy or build this home? Why do you think this is the perfect home for you? Now the examiner says, okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. For me, the house that I've always dreamt of is a 2-story mansion in the suburbs of Vancouver, specifically in North Vancouver. This house would have at least 10 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms to provide lots of space for my wife and 3 children. It would have a modern design with foot-to-ceiling windows so that we can enjoy the ocean view while filling our home with precious sunlight. Certainly, there would be lots of amenities both indoors and outdoors, including a games room, tennis court, swimming pool, both in and out of the home. I would love to host big family gathering for special events, for instance on New Year's, so I would definitely have a massive state-of-the-art kitchen with a gas stove so that I can cook delicious food. This mansion can give lots of comfort to my life so I can live a rich and happy existence to the age of 100. Since Vancouver is quite an expensive city, I would need roughly $20 million to construct such a home, and I would hire some architects to design the home exactly the way I envision it. Okay, that's 1 minute, 10 seconds. So I probably still have some time. Okay, I timed that. That was 1 minute, 10 seconds. So I still have some time. So this is where I would add in a bit more information because the examiner's maybe still looking at me like, okay, good job, keep talking. Okay, so the reason I would choose North Vancouver as my neighborhood is because it has a lot of green spaces, parks, and big trees. So when I'm not in my home, I can enjoy long hikes with my family. The area has fresh air and little traffic. It is also very multicultural, so I can meet a diversity of people with a variety of interests, and I'm sure that I would have lovely neighbors. Okay, now don't go off topic because you're starting to talk more about Vancouver and the area now, so definitely come back to the house. So if you can see like the examiner's looking at you like, okay, you're talking about your neighborhood, which is still related to your home, come back to the house. Okay, so I would say something like this. So I would probably have a low fence around my home, only about a meter or so. This way, I can talk with my neighbors when I'm outside. Luckily, Vancouver is a very safe neighborhood, so I don't have to worry about having a small fence. Okay, and at this point the examiner will realize, okay, this guy's probably running out of ideas, but they've said everything that they need to say. I'm going to give them a band 9 and then we can move on. All right. Okay, so this would be considered your band 9 response, and this would take me about 90 seconds to 2 minutes roughly to say comfortably without rushing, using my notes. And this is what you need to do to get that high band score. Okay? All right. So, yeah, Coach Nguyen, for band 9, that is normal speed. Okay, that would be considered a normal speed. Okay? Arda, the examiner would not cut you off. If you're speaking at this speed and you're not repeating yourself and you keep coming back to your dream house where you want to live, that idea, so you don't start talking about the schools and the ocean and about taking boat rides, they will not cut you off. They will give you the time because they need to fill their space. So the examiner has 12 minutes for your interview. And if you're speaking nice and fluently, they're not going to cut you off because they know that then they have to ask you so many questions for part 3. So the examiner is always thinking about their time limit. Okay, keep that in mind. They're thinking about the time limit. Okay, Ois, we are safe from the floods here in Victoria, thankfully. All right, everyone, so that's it for part 2 speaking. And next week, we're going to have part 1 speaking for everyone and part 1 speaking for our members. And we'll actually talk to some students in the live class. So we're going to be looking for volunteers to talk with in the live class, and then we'll analyze the answers of students, and you'll be able to listen, not just read, but listen to the answers of students. So make sure to subscribe to our channel, pay attention to our schedule. We're going to put this on our YouTube comments and posts, okay? So you'll see it there. You can also see our schedule in our Instagram. We're going to have that there a little bit later today, okay? So check out IELTS_AE help or GIELTS help on Instagram. And definitely check out our websites, okay? Our websites have lots and lots of help for you to improve your communication. You can speak to other students. This is our general IELTS website here with the green background. Click that big red button to join. And this is our academic IELTS website here with the red background. Click that big red button to join. Just fill out this information and you're good to go. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access with lots of HD videos. That's it for me for today, everyone. Thank you so much for your comments and for joining this class. I hope you enjoyed it. I sure had a great week teaching you. I wish you all an amazing rest of your weekend, and I'm sending you happy vibes from Victoria. I'm Adrian, signing out for now. Bye, everyone.